trace! Leave no trace! No trace! Leave no trace! No trace! Leave no trace! On the bus!
We build, and then we burn, and blow it up. And then we make it look like it never happened. You know, so when I see it like this, I'm just like, yep, this is no trace. This is looking good. This is what the playa should look like when we leave.
I'm gonna follow you as long as you're driving among my coworkers.
No, that's fine. So this is what they let them do on our public land.
It's really gross over here. It stinks so bad. He's trying to block us again. See, it's a ranger. Their staff is trying to block us.
And I'm probably in trouble for standing.
I hope not. There's trespassing us on public land. That's crazy.
Each year, the self-proclaimed radically inclusive event known as Burning Man builds a city for 70,000 visitors in the Nevada Black Rock Desert. A few months later, they tear it all down, claiming to leave the area just as they found it.
You know, of course, that our Black Rock City event in the Nevada desert is the world's largest Leave No Trace event. Yay!
This is a significant claim that many Burning Man participants and supporters take at face value. But an in-depth investigation has found that the truth, to put it gently, is a little more complex than the slogans. Over a period of 2 years, we set out to document the post-event fallout that the burners don't want you to see.
You don't need to be driving through here.
Guys are not supposed to be within.
We'll get the Rangers on you.
The filming began on the final day of the 2023 event, where thousands of participants had already burned the effigy that gives the festival its name, but had not yet headed back to their real lives. This is what the parking lot of the Grand Sierra Resort in Reno looked like before Burning Man attendees began flowing in masses out of the desert. This is what the same parking lot looked like just hours after the event officially concluded.
Yeah, they're leaving it all over. Look at it's all over already.
Wow, they're going in there.
And why is it already like that?
It's like they're, quote, art. Yeah, all over already. They got all that shit they're putting everywhere.
Notably, this is something that Burning Man officials claim to combat.
Leave no trace! Leave no trace! All right, and we're gonna move on, because leave no trace is not just for the playa. In fact, it's just the beginning.
Evidence of that statement in practice was yet to be seen. When we returned to the Grand Sierra Resort the next morning, the trash situation had reached an appalling new level.
As an organization, as a community, we're getting really, really good at picking up after ourselves and managing our waste stream.
But the destruction reached the roadway too, which would become a familiar sight throughout the investigation. The influx of trash showed no signs of slowing down, and by that night, it was truly out of control.
You just left it right there. So that's good enough, okay.
When we headed to the nearby town of Fernley, we found some of the most revolting evidence yet.
Hi.
Good, how are you?
I'm good, how are you? Stinks so bad.
Even this was only scratching the surface. When we returned to Reno, the trash situation had grown unspeakably disgusting.
It's really gross. And they wasted a lot of food that's perfectly good.
So this is happening, okay? Leave Nevada beautiful. So, where are you guys taking your trash?
But in the coming days, the citizens of towns like Reno and Fernley would be left to clean up the mess the burners left behind themselves. Yet this was nothing in comparison to the massive scale of destruction we would find at the Burning Man site itself, in the heart of Nevada's Black Rock Desert. On September 10th, nearly a week after Burning Man ended and cleanup began, we headed out to the playa to take a look at the festival site itself. Cleanup was underway, but what we were about to find would suggest that the restoration process was already falling short. The closer we got to the site, the more evidence of the event seemed to be strewn across the desert, and even the roadway. Burning Man claims it condemns and picks up all evidence of litter, also known as matter out of place or MOOP, on the highway in addition to the playa.
My crew, highway cleanup, follows up. Traffic of Burning Man has moved on, and it is safe for us to be on the highways. We hit the highways and we pick up all the move on both sides of the highway as fast as we can. We'll pick it up within 48 hours.
All the trash we found along Highway 447 was recorded 6 days after the event ended, far exceeding the 48-hour window mentioned in the official clip just seen. Not to mention, the highway from Gerlach to Wadsworth alone stretches for 75 miles. It would be impossible to clean up the entire highway in that amount of time. And when this trash isn't picked up quickly, it can and will blow back into the desert, creating problems far beyond what Burning Man would like to admit.
It goes flying, and if it goes out of my jurisdiction over a fence, say into some private property or a cattle pasture, I cannot allow my crew to legally get it.
It should be noted, by the way, that we didn't see a single member of the restoration crew working along the highway on the 10th. If the pollution aspect isn't bad enough, the garbage can create further issues, which Burning Man itself openly acknowledges.
Road debris is actually a safety issue. These are things that are falling on the highways. And there's a national message out there about road debris. It says, secure your load like somebody you love is driving behind you. And that's especially true of Burning Man in Black Rock City.
Every year, Burning Man gets a permit from the Bureau of Land Management, also known as the BLM, to host their event on public land, and must pass a cleanliness inspection in order to return to the playa. However, when we got to the playa, the scene went from bad to worse.
The playa's pretty destroyed right there.
Though restoration efforts were already underway, it was a long way from the kind of cleanup they'd publicized in previous years.
We were just here 5 weeks ago looking at the open playa and the beauty, and we're getting ready to restore it to that beauty. So we're gonna build, burn, float up, and leave no trace.
There's a mattress in the middle.
Burn scars are among the most visible and long-lasting forms of damage to the playa. According to Burning Man's own website, they are difficult to clean up and take years to recover. BLM regulations prohibit fires on the surface without the use of protective blankets or containers, and Burning Man representatives insist that this kind of destruction is not being left behind.
This is what the playa should look like when we leave. But we want it to look like this right after the event, and we want it to look like this again when we come back next year.
Some may argue that Burning Man's post-event restoration efforts are a sign of good faith and proof that they're taking care of the playa as advertised. But that would be like saying it's okay to spill oil into the ocean every year as long as a cleanup crew comes behind the tanker. Regardless of how good the restoration effort is, irreversible damage is being done. At no point was that more obvious than in 2023, when torrential rains plagued the event, turning the mass exodus into a destructive spectacle that attracted attention from the national media.
This is Burning Man, guys.
Even though the BLM permit prohibits driving on the wet playa, masses of people violated this rule, leaving behind ruts and scars so deep that they are likely irreparable.
I honestly think that this is the best burn ever. Like, this has given us the opportunity to rise to radical self-reliance. I'm having the best time.
Burning Man knows this can be a problem even in the most favorable weather, as seen here when one of their officials reacts to a new type of fencing the Bureau of Land Management wanted to use for the event.
BLM's barrier mitigation would dramatically increase the Burning Man event's carbon footprint and create unprecedented environmental impacts on the playa surface itself. The barrier would create a massive 10-mile-long set of dunes that would eclipse by huge margins any past dunes and need to be remediated with heavy equipment if it could be remediated.
But BLM is also aware of why playa damage is so unacceptable, as one of their representatives explained in this video published on the official BLM Nevada YouTube page.
There's actually berry shrimp that lay their eggs when the monsoons come through and it gets wet enough. And they will hatch when they're standing water on the playa, and I think within 2 days, within 2 days they're reproducing and laying more eggs for the next time the rains come, and they can stay in the playa for years. When the fairy shrimp are hatching, this is along a migratory bird route, so they become an important food source for those birds. right now is just dust blowing in our face is actually part of, you know, an ecosystem, a living, breathing ecosystem.
One of the migratory species that feeds on the fairy shrimp are federally protected snowy plovers. However, fairy shrimp are highly sensitive to contaminants, which we found in excess after the Burning Man extravaganza. The hidden ecosystem beneath the playa cannot be downplayed. A 2013 study in the Journal of Crustacean Biology found that intact egg densities in the Burning Man camping area were significantly reduced following the festival. And while contamination is a huge issue, so is breaking the surface of the playa itself with vehicles and heavy equipment during wet conditions. All of this has to be considered in the context of where the event takes place, as Burning Man officials have pointed out themselves.
Not only is this a unique event in and of itself, but it's being held on a national conservation area, which means that there's higher levels of standards.
Evidence of those standards were yet to be seen, especially once we approached what had been the center of Black Rock City.
Leave no trace! Leave no trace!
I've seen other events that just completely trash the joint, and that's not the case with us, and that's one of the main things I stick around for. And even our staunchest of opposers to this event cannot deny the leave no trace aspect of our city.
Leave no trace! Awesome, all right.
I love the fact that Burning Man can leave it just the way it's supposed to be, clean, perfect.
Despite the widespread devastation of the playa, one of the Burning Man event managers, Annie Bond, shared her opinion that this was not normal behavior.
And the serious minority of people who don't give a shit about Leave No Trace are like a percentage of the 74-ish K that attended this year.
The irony was far from over because the cleanup methods we observed were in direct contradiction with what Burning Man tells the public.
There's nothing that can tell me that bringing 80,000 dumpsters to the playa is environmentally good for the playa, in my professional opinion.
In actuality, we found dumpsters scattered all over the playa.
So say with me, no public dumpsters!
However, we were about to learn that this was still just the beginning of the utter environmental destruction Burning Man left in its wake. In a public presentation, Burning Man employees explained the BLM regulations regarding matter out of place, or MOOP, placed on their event site.
But the Bureau of Land Management site inspection is conducted. The allowable standard is 1 square foot per acre. Say it with me. 1 square foot per acre. Translated into 1 square foot per acre into percentages is 0.002%.
We would later learn just how absurd the BLM inspection process is, capturing footage that will shock anyone who believes that it's anything like the rigorous test Burning Man describes. In the meantime, we documented the garbage on the ground surrounding the playa itself. Just because this was found outside of the playa doesn't make it any less egregious. This surrounding area is home to additional sensitive natural habitats, including dens for kit foxes, more migratory birds, and other species. A sign just outside the playa provides this information to all visitors.
It's really gross over here.
Adrian Steele, EMB, that's what that is.
One would think that local conservation groups would take an interest in the destruction being done to the desert environment. At least one such group does indeed exist. The Friends of Black Rock.
People have mowed over these dunes and they've damaged the cryptobiotic, and then you lose this kind of habitat forever. This is beautiful jackrabbit and all kinds of wild critter habitat.
But while the group does draw attention to certain environmental concerns stemming from Burning Man, they place the emphasis on individual behavior.
Before having a fire, make sure you check your local regulations and make sure there's not a fire ban.
The woman lecturing about fires on the playa is Olivia Cameron, a member of Friends of Black Rock as well as a proud Burning Man attendee herself.
Yeah, get all this burned up.
We need to put the fire out immediately. You can't have fires directly on the playa.
But in 2025, videos from even before the event officially began showed Burning Man workers making a mockery of this advice. Indeed, Burning Man workers post pictures of themselves every year enjoying an early burn before the rest of the attendees arrive.
Leave no trace!
Can't have fires directly on the playa.
Like everything else in that desert is fragile and vulnerable and needs to be protected.
The Bureau of Land Management has posted public warnings that fires of this kind can damage the living ecosystem beneath the playa and impact a rich food source for migrating birds.
After having a fire on the playa, it leaves a permanent burn scar that leaves the ground miscolored, and it also turns it hard as a rock.
They sound much like the officials from Burning Man, who never mention that there are systemic issues with the event's fallout that can't be remedied with tips and tricks. But perhaps that similarity is not a coincidence, since the Friends of Black Rock board members primarily consist of Burning Man attendees, donors, and Bureau of Land Management retirees. One such retiree is Dave Cooper, who was actually the first BLM manager for the region, which would have made him responsible for awarding permits to Burning Man from 2001 to 2009. In a Facebook post made after cleaning up some abandoned debris on the playa, the group warned, "You can try to hide your trash and discards, but you can't hide them from Friends of Black Rock." Perhaps they should have added, "unless you're participating in Burning Man, in which case you can leave trash anywhere you want." We spoke with the group's Damian Cooper, and he was upfront about his own annual attendance.
I've been going to Burning Man since 2004, and, I love it. It's a great event.
You can understand that it could be viewed as a conflict of interest, right?
Sure, I could see that. Yeah, I definitely could see that, but, it's like I live here, and I work here, and I'm here year-round. Why wouldn't I go?
But he acknowledged that the event does not come and go without an impact.
It does bring a lot of traffic and a lot of noise, which definitely affects the wildlife out here. The sound carries for miles and miles. So I can only imagine what all the little critters are feeling when 80,000 people come out here,
In the spring of 2017, Dave Cooper of Friends of Black Rock posted a picture of wild horses in the area right next to the flooded playa. And in 2024, wild horses even wandered onto the playa during the Burning Man event itself. In another online post, the group warned visitors to avoid driving on the wet playa areas. This was posted about a week before the 2023 event, when those heavy rains soaked the desert and attendees and heavy equipment created some of the worst playa destruction in Burning Man's history. Ruts in the playa are seemingly important to the conservation group, which put up a warning against driving across the playa in 2017, during similarly muddy conditions. Please be smart and avoid making unnecessary ruts. In another post, they simply say, "Tire tracks and ruts make us sad." The group isn't wrong to be concerned. After the 2023 floods, one geology professor said the ruts created were scars on the playa that would last years or decades and could have ecological significance, including increased wind erosion and dust storms. But according to the group's own Damian Cooper, Burning Man is the least of the playa's problems. Despite the extraordinary amount of debris, playa destruction, environmental contamination, and air pollution that 75,000 people bring to the area every year, Cooper said that individual recreationalists were his top concern.
Honestly, I think the biggest threat to it is OHVs and side-by-sides, the off-road vehicles. That they can just drive over anything, nothing's stopping them. So people are creating new paths and turning areas into, basically parking lots because they're just driving all over everything.
We found the group's reluctance to criticize or oppose Burning Man directly interesting, particularly in light of this post where they discuss their part in the restoration process, upon which the event's permit hinges. To this day, that permit continues to be issued, despite evidence to suggest that the toll Burning Man has taken on the entire Black Rock National Conservation Area has been substantial.
We also have teams that go out to the hot spring patrols every day, and they go out there to protect the springs and to inform anyone who's out there that Burning Man participants really shouldn't be at the springs during the event because the springs are really sensitive and can't take that kind of impact during the event.
3 years after that video was posted, the Bureau of Land Management issued a new advisory to avoid contact with the Trago hot springs, as the waters had tested positive for disease-causing organisms such as E. coli. Perhaps there was no connection between the contamination and the event, but the current state of the playa didn't exactly point to careful stewardship of the area. We hope that further work by the cleanup crew would indeed restore the playa to something resembling its natural state, as the BLM permit dictates, but it wasn't looking promising. On our way out, we found that public resources were being diverted to curtail the Burning Man fallout.
Washoe County?
Yeah.
It wasn't a complete surprise, given what Burning Man higher-ups have said about their relationship with county officials.
We are excellent partners with Washoe County and consider them to be key stakeholders, of course, in Burning Man.
Over the course of our investigation, we would find that statement to be far more revealing than we would have ever guessed. Bright and early, the day after Burning Man's BLM permit expired, we once again headed out into the Black Rock Desert. The permit states clearly that removal of all above-ground material will be completed no later than October 1st, 2023. But rather than a pristine, empty playa, it appeared that cleanup was nowhere near complete.
Burning Man is a multicultural, open, and inviting and inclusive global community.
This would be the day where we would find out just how little truth there was to that statement. We hardly had time to begin filming before being accosted by the Burning Man workers.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, are you just visiting here or?
Yeah, just visiting and filming.
This is a closed area. Yeah, that's what I think it is. Okay, I'll let somebody else talk to you.
This was only the beginning of a day that would be characterized by incessant and rapidly escalating harassment, including one driver who came recklessly close to the vehicle, and others who circled menacingly to send a message. Though we started that day just filming the soil, it had somehow been enough to generate this response on the part of the burners. Soon enough, they sent one of their Black Rock Rangers to deal with us. These volunteers work as a kind of security force during the event, but it's important to note that they are not law enforcement in any sense of the term.
Hola!
Hi!
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Well, apologize for the guys back there coming to buzz you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people working out here right now, so this is an active work zone. So they get really nervous when unknown cars come driving around, and especially over on the shoreline.
Yep.
That's where some people live. That's their house, basically. So you guys can appreciate that and respect that.
Nah, we ain't going over there.
You were just over there, yeah.
Well, this is public land, if I'm not mistaken.
I understand
Yeah.
that.
To be clear, Burning Man is given two different authorities from the BLM. The Special Recreations Permit gives them permission to use the land for their event, but it does not restrict public access to the area. Meanwhile, the closure order, which is issued separately for a smaller window of time, is what actually closes the land to the rest of the general public. Throughout this video, you'll hear us and others use the terms permit and closure interchangeably, especially in the heat of the moment. However, it's the closure order alone that determines whether or not we were allowed to be on the land. October 1st, the day before this encounter, was the final day of Burning Man's Special Recreation Permit, and the closure order had already expired on September 30th, giving these workers no right to deny access to any area of the playa, much less treat it as a private residence. Despite this and our attempts to explain the facts of the matter, the confrontation would only escalate.
All right, hey, you have a good day.
And you were
you too. Have a good day. Have a good day.
Unwilling to let the matter go even after that outlandish accusation, the ranger continued to lurk.
It is common to engage with people.
No, it ain't. You have no authority out here, dude. You may have an authority when you have your little event, but right now the Black Rock Ranger don't mean nothing. So maybe you should take your back to Gerlach and go relax. You probably wanted to be a cop when you was a kid, huh? You didn't make the cut?
While they may pretend otherwise when harassing people on public land, the Rangers acknowledge that they are not police.
Right, we have no real authority except what the community gives us. We're not here to police people.
Are you responsible for this cone right here, sir? Is this part of your event? This cone? Is this cone part of your event? Hey, what's my new buddy's name? What's my new buddy's name? You don't have a name? Oh, man. And you represent Black Rock right now? This is what you represent? You represent the event, and you're out here following people around?
Appreciate you.
It looks good. Appreciate you as well, man. You have a wonderful time. I hope you clean this whole mess up you guys made out here.
This may have sounded like a conclusion to the conversation, but it soon became clear that backing off was the last thing on the Rangers' to-do list.
Well, because there's a strange issue here because they've given them authority over a limited amount of time, but they're now trying to abuse that authority.
The Rangers' authority, to the extent they had any to begin with, was gone the moment the special recreation permit expired on the 1st. And as stated, the closure order that allowed them to keep others off public land had already expired on September 30th. However, this didn't stop this ranger from following us for the next 12 minutes. When he showed no sign of backing off, we decided to give one final warning before involving the real authorities.
How's it going? Is there a reason you're still following us? Because that's considered harassment.
I'm going to follow you as long as you're present around my coworkers.
Oh, I'm going to call the Pershing County Sheriff to let him know that I have somebody following me around.
I'll look forward to speaking with the Pershing County Sheriff.
Good. I hope you do.
With the Rangers still close behind, we called Pershing County's non-emergency line. But even with the Sheriff's Department on the phone, the Ranger wasn't backing down and would indeed continue to follow us around the playa for approximately 50 minutes after this encounter.
I'm going to follow you as long as you're driving among my coworkers.
That's fine. That's fine.
My coworkers don't trust your presence.
After giving the Sheriff's Department our personal contact information and reporting the harassment coming from the Rangers, we returned to the business at hand, filming the mess this event had left behind on the playa. But as our investigation continued, so did the unsettling behavior.
He's trying to follow us now.
Oh, he's trying to drive right at us again.
Followers of Annie Bond's videos, however, would get a very distorted view of what was happening out on the playa.
So way off in the distance, you probably can't tell. This orange car has been evading us. It is technically an open site now, but we are still absolutely working a lot. Look at us all go. So if anyone sees a TikTok, some boot, orange vehicle, pray tell, do tag me. Way off in the distance, that's the vehicle. Well, they were taking pictures at our work site on the shoreline and they were rooted, and now they're just trolling. They won't stop for any of our Rangers to talk.
But we'd done more than enough talking to Rangers that day. And besides, they didn't seem particularly interested in a conversation.
Is he trying to block our vehicle?
If it's really just about being kind, it's kind of hard if you can bring them into that space. It's kind of hard to argue that we shouldn't be kind.
I don't know if that's legal either, what he's doing right now.
No, neither.
Well, if he crashes into us, it's his fault.
What's he getting so aggressive about, huh?
He's aiming right towards us.
This is like, okay, culty. This is like really cult stuff.
A lot of people do call Burning Man a cult, and understandably so. There's a lot of very culty aspects to it.
The Rangers' tactics continued to cast a dark shadow over the day.
Oh my gosh, he's not trying to make sure people don't go over there. Look at. Yeah, he's not trying to make sure people don't go in there. That's a lie. Because if he was trying to make sure people don't go in there, he wouldn't be following where we're going now. I have him still. There you go. To prove he's following us. And there he is still. And he's getting reinforcements.
It's kind of creepy to have someone following you around on public land. Is that really what the BLM wants people doing?
Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah, I know. It's almost like you felt like a celebrity when he showed up and they all stare at you.
Hey, maybe they'll all follow us around. We should keep going around.
That's what I'm thinking. They just follow us around. It's really weird. They just keep following us wherever we go. We're like directing their cleaning. We could like direct there. Be like, this spot, you missed a spot here. Yep.
Indeed, this might not have been the worst idea, because it quickly became clear that their restoration efforts had been wildly insufficient. Certainly, it was a far different reality than the one shown in the official Burning Man videos.
If we came here and we destroyed this beautiful playa, this alkaline preserve, we would not be here every year.
Damn, jack up the soil right there. Wow, that's really bad.
We asked Damian Cooper of Friends of Black Rock about using heavy equipment on the playa to grade the soil, and to our surprise, he was candid in his criticism.
I don't necessarily agree with the grading of it, because what I find is that it leaves really long little berms, little dunes. So you run a grader across the playa, and at the end of the grader, it's going to leave like a mound of dirt, right? And so that mound will go for as long as they've run the grader. And that can be a problem, because then when the dust blows, it can just start adding more and more and potentially make these huge dunes.
Back here on the playa, our filming continued, along with the bizarre stalking.
Still here. Okay. Timestamp later. Still following us.
Their constant presence was a reminder that Burning Man, by their own admission, has technology that allows them to surveil the playa.
Our closure area is monitored by radar capable of detecting the shape signature of anything larger than a jackrabbit. We have the ability to pinpoint any human being from several miles away and can radio an intercept vehicle instantly to the exact location.
Being followed did not stop us from noting all of the gouges, scrapes, and stains left on the surface of the playa. Each one constituted a violation of the BLM permit, raising the question of where the BLM enforcers might be, since they hadn't been seen on site all day. The deeper we dug into the BLM's role, the more confusing it would get.
Again, the community does an amazing job. They probably pick up 99% of everything, which is visually 100%.
This freaking playa is wrecked.
But while we were chronicling the damage left behind by this event, the strangest thing happened. We got a phone call and a text from Charlie Dolman, Burning Man's director of event operations. In part, he said, "I understand there's been some stress this afternoon out on the playa." But it wasn't what he said that was disturbing. It was the question of how he'd managed to get our private contact information in the first place. Maybe Annie Bond had the answer.
The internet is wild. We found out who they are, though I'm a little torn, honestly, on telling anyone about it, because it's not like I want their shit to get more traffic, you know? And they really are just like, they're rage farmers. That's what they are.
Despite her insinuations, it turns out that the burners didn't need the internet to get this information. It came from a much more direct source. Rather than actually responding to our call by sending out a deputy, the Pershing County Sheriff's Office had instead given our personal contact number to the Bureau of Land Management. The BLM, for some reason, had shockingly decided to go ahead and pass that information off to the people at Burning Man.
Where are they going?
I guess they're done over there. Imagine environmentalists being mad that you're here to document the environment.
They don't even know what we're doing.
That's true.
We could have come out here just to have fun, and we're not allowed to now.
We called the BLM to get some answers about what could only be termed a serious privacy violation, but no one picked up. Before going straight to the BLM office to confront them about this indiscretion, we took a drive over to the main work site, where we were given the usual welcome by the people who had been following us all day.
This guy doesn't want to be filmed.
It's worth remembering that the special recreation permit issued to Burning Man explicitly states that lands must be restored as nearly as possible to pre-existing conditions. Leaving heavy equipment, trailers, and other materials after October 1st directly violates this requirement.
What's she doing? What's that? No, I'm just driving through.
You don't need to be driving through here.
This is public land.
This is currently a closed permit.
It's not, it's your guys' permit. This is no longer permitted.
As previously stated, Burning Man's permit, which in any case specifically states that they may not violate any valid uses of the federal land by others, had expired the day before, and the closure order had expired on September 30th.
I mean, we're just driving through.
Okay, well, Rangers will be here soon to speak with you.
That's good. I've already spoke with them. How long you guys gonna be until you're done? How long until you guys are done here? Oh, no, why is she going away? Are you guys almost finished here?
Sir, I don't think I'm supposed to be speaking to you. Thank you.
Whoa, that's weird. How come? How you doing?
How's it going?
Pretty good. How long until you guys are gonna be done? Hey, how's it going? Hey, hold on. This is weird.
This is a Burning Man employee. He's one of their top staff.
At one point, the burners even attempted to block our vehicle in with a bus and a Ranger truck.
Oh, again, look at this guy again. He's trying to block us again. You see, it's a Ranger. Their staff is trying to block us. He's filming.
And at other times, the burners' behavior spoke for itself.
Burning Man is an open and inclusive community.
As we wrapped up filming for the day, we drove out to the BLM office to ask them why they'd given our personal phone number to Burning Man. When we got there, however, the office was locked up tight. The answers would have to wait, unless, of course, they were already out there for anyone to see.
By and large, we have a great working relationship with Burning Man Corporation.
With the playa nowhere near restored, we went back to the desert the next morning. It wasn't long before Annie Bond was posting about us on TikTok.
Our visitor is back.
Look at that.
I know that we don't want to engage them. We should probably
There they are, little
take
bastards.
pictures of their license plate.
Yeah.
Despite already acknowledging that the site was now open, Annie and the burners continued to take exception to our presence, even at a considerable distance.
All right, we got to the playa, and as you can see, they're way out there working today. And yesterday when we came here, we didn't do anything but drove around just to see what the progress was, and you could see the result of what that was. So we wanted to film as soon as we got here so you can see how these people behave right from the get. Those people who are camping up there, which makes you wonder, are they allowed to have, like, I guarantee they're there for longer than a 14-day BLM limit. And we're going to be looking into that, too. And we're just going to relax here.
Too bad you can't, like, balance it on here and just film.
Can you see how far out
There you go, look at.
You can see how far out they are, though? They're really far. Like, you can't even see them on the right here at all. That's how far out they are. There's no workers here at all.
It wasn't long before someone arrived, though, despite our vehicle not moving.
Here comes somebody else.
We moved even further away from the burner parking lot, but it wasn't long before the Burning Man employees restarted their intimidation tactics.
There's an
car up there on the mountain. See it?
Ew. Okay, tell me that's not creepy.
And see, that's where their little spot is up there.
Once again, the burners were just gearing up.
Okay, so now you can see that guy's coming towards.
Yeah. So basically, we're being stalked here on public land. They got a light flashing today. It must make them official.
They're filming.
That's good. Filming me waving at them. Creepy, huh? Yeah, man, that is so creepy.
Since we clearly weren't going to be left alone, we came up with a new plan.
We're just gonna drive around the playa and see if we can find any garbage and see how far they'll follow us.
See, here he comes already. All right, now you can see how he's following us. Okay, I don't think you get any clear proof on that.
This is literally a representative of the Black Rock organization, a Burning Man organization, following people on their public land after the event is over and their permit is gone. There's no workers here, so you're trying to use that as an excuse to harass.
Soon after, a government official approached using a greeting one might expect from an old friend, not a stranger with the Bureau of Land Management.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah, how's it going?
All right, how are you?
Pretty good.
So my name's Andy. I'm with the Bureau of Land Management.
Yeah, are you the one that gave it? That's what Charlie said, you gave him my number.
Yeah.
Yeah, Charlie said that.
So, because I got a call from Persian County.
Yeah, but should you be giving out people's personal phone numbers like that?
So I got a phone call.
Okay.
From Persian County.
I know.
Saying that you guys that there was some issues out here between you and the Burning Man people.
I have no issue. I'm trying
to do their job.
They're not trying to do their job. They're trying to block off access to public road. This is public land.
I agree. This is public land.
We would soon learn that he wasn't just any BLM official. He was James Andy Borichter, the field manager for the Black Rock Field Office and the one responsible for issuing permits to Burning Man.
Again, they're trying to do their job, clean up and stuff like that. I think they were concerned with you kind of driving around and driving through their stuff that they've got over there.
Yeah, but I'm not driving through any of their stuff.
So, and then kind of following up with their people that are walking along.
I have not been even close to the people walking along.
Okay.
This wouldn't be the last time the burners attempted to twist the facts of this particular interaction.
I'm out here documenting the destruction to the playa, but they're acting like they own this playa and this is public land. Their permit's expired. They shouldn't be driving around. This guy's been following me ever since I got here. That's called stalking and harassment, and it's against the NRS. I got guys, pulling their pants down and mooning us as we're just trying to drive through.
We'll have a chat with the supervisor out here, make sure he tells his ranger guys to respect your space also.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
At the same time, please respect their space.
Oh, I'm not going,
don't go through any of their, they've got stuff on the sideline over there that they're...
I'm not going to go through that. I'll start going the outside of it, but I won't go through it.
While we had the attention of a BLM representative, we decided to ask some questions about Burning Man's cleanup efforts.
And what do you think about all the heavy equipment they're using on the playa? I thought that was that the playa was sensitive.
The playa is somewhat sensitive, I guess, but we've got to try to get the playa back to where it's at a good spot where Mother Nature can kind of finish it off, right?
Yeah.
But there are locals in the Gerlach area who aren't convinced that this is just harmless yearly fun. John Bogard, who owns nearby Planet X Pottery, told us that the event has taken a toll on the environment.
The playa being hard and flat was the best part. They ran the world speed records out there. You could drive on it. They just proceeded to wreck it. You can't even drive on the desert anymore. It's just all torn up, and it's just a mess. I mean, they bury all their electric cables. They dig it up. It's just insane. And then at the end of the year, they drag it with, those big drags, trucks and cats. The desert will never reclaim itself.
Bogard acknowledged that much of Gerlach's current population is now made up of Burning Man employees. That's why it's no surprise that the town and Burning Man joined together to stop Ormet Technologies from starting a geothermal project in the area. At one point, Dave Cooper of the Friends of Black Rock said that such a project would threaten the, quote, peace and quiet and solitude and unspoiled landscapes the people of Gerlach had come to enjoy. We asked Cooper why that standard shouldn't be applied to the environmental mess left behind each year by Burning Man, but he didn't respond before the deadline of the documentary. Back here on the playa, we would soon come across evidence that would make it clear how much damage has been done, not all of which can be seen with the naked eye.
I've been talking to a lot of scientists who tell me, soil scientists who tell me that once you break up this top layer, it then destroys it and it starts to hold water. And then it no longer has a crust that repels the water anymore.
We had come across an example of this type of destruction earlier.
See, the crust is gone.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
However, the BLM official didn't appear too concerned.
The playa's been out here for thousands of years. Yes, it's been kind of dug up a little bit. They're trying to repair it as best they can to smooth it out. Mother Nature will take care of the rest.
Suffice to say, the event's motto is leave no trace, not do what you can and leave the rest for Mother Nature. But Damian Cooper of the Friends of Black Rock Conservation Group says that you have to examine Burning Man's slogan with some nuance.
There really is no such thing as leave no trace. At the best, you can tread lightly. There's always going to be a trace from man going anywhere and doing anything.
We were certainly finding plenty of those traces, including numerous burn scars that had been left on the ground. Burning Man itself has literature warning about the effects of burning the playa, which can harden and mar the surface, creating uneven dunes that pose a hazard and allow debris to settle into the cracks, which makes scrubbing them clean very difficult. They warned in a 2021 guide that the entire National Conservation Area is a sensitive habitat and ecosystem that requires active environmental protection, and even note that this means greater responsibility for visitors. Andy's somewhat casual attitude about the damage was especially peculiar in light of a report the Bureau of Land Management published the previous year, which highlighted some of the challenges facing the playa, including burn scars and abandoned vehicles. If left unchecked, the report notes, these things could lead to irreparable damage. This report wasn't just published by the BLM, it was compiled by the Black Rock Field Office and had Andy's name at the top of the credits.
Wow, this is really sad.
Back in the present, Andy shared some more information about the supposed closure extension.
Its final inspection will be next week. If you want to know the details, you're free to FOIA it and all that other stuff.
Am I free to show up?
Sure, you can show up and drive around. There's nothing we can do to stop you.
Aren't they supposed to be gone though by now?
They asked me if they could have some additional time because the playa is, it's been a unique year, right? With regards to the rain and everything like that. So they're making sure that they can get rid of a lot of the ruts and the damage, making sure they're getting all the stuff up that's been buried in the wet mud.
We would find plenty of interesting items left behind in the ground, but more urgently question the distressing idea that Burning Man could circumvent an extensive permitting process by simply asking one guy in a truck.
You sound kind of biased towards them, are you? Do you attend?
I'm not biased towards them. I just know what an effort it is to put an event like this on.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, we hold them accountable.
BLM officials may bristle at any accusation of bias, but seeing as it's their job to protect the land above all else, it's uncomfortable to see the way they talk about the event at times.
It's not just BRC and BLM trying to make this happen. It's the whole entire event that plays an important role of accomplishing this and making this happen.
It would seem that BLM should be completely neutral on whether or not Burning Man continues, and the full weight of responsibility should lie on the event organizers to make sure they are compliant with the regulations. BLM's role should be enforcing those regulations, to say nothing of keeping people safe from Burning Man's intimidation tactics.
You can just educate them on not harassing people out here that are not doing anything wrong. I mean,
I will have a discussion with that.
All right, I appreciate that.
Sure that they get a little overzealous sometimes. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
The BLM official headed off to speak with the burners, but in the meantime, we were still being followed around by Burning Man employees as we documented additional shocking debris, which included more abandoned vehicles.
I want to go get his plate too in a minute. You know what I mean?
A while later, Andy from BLM reappeared with an update.
So I had a conversation with the supervisor.
Okay.
He's gonna talk with the rangers. Tell them to just hang back, not that they're gonna follow you around or anything.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But if they received this message, it made little difference. The rangers remained a constant shadow throughout the day.
He's eating something.
Burning Man sends mixed signals about the local wildlife. In some instances, they post statements proclaiming that the desert is, quote, completely devoid of any vegetation or animal habitat. Other times, they make statements that are much closer to the truth.
When the rains come and the winter comes, and this becomes a shallow lake, those little creatures come back up and they're food for the migratory birds.
And believe it or not, there are a lot of animals that use the playa when we're not there.
Damian Cooper from Friends of Black Rock managed to argue both sides in our conversation with him.
We're having people just drive all over our dunes, and that's a kit fox habitat. And I don't know if you know about the kit fox, but they are super adorable. They're a tiny fox that only grows 3 to 5 pounds, and they live in burrows in the dune.
But he says Burning Man has no effect on the kit foxes.
Burning Man is in the middle of the playa. Generally, any of the dunes are going to be on the edges, or what I call the shoreline, where the vegetation meets the playa. The only thing that would be something that it would affect would be the fairy shrimp eggs. But that's the only thing that really lives on the playa, in the playa. There's not animals living out there or anything. It's too harsh of an environment for anything to survive.
But Facebook posts from playa visitors have shown animals as large as antelope enjoying this landscape. But even if we're talking only about the fairy shrimp, those alone play an important role in the ecosystem, providing food for the migratory birds. Of course, how seriously Burning Man takes those depends on the day.
Another thing that they want is shields on lights to protect the migratory birds, or bird. I would say so.
These birds are far from the only sign of life on the playa, as we would document in detail the following year. And yet, this was all left behind in the wake of the event. On the way out for the day, we came upon some workers cleaning the road, despite already having had an interaction with these same folks earlier.
They're filming.
That's good. Filming me waving at them.
They seemed desperate to avoid conversation.
Can we pull over? Is there a safe spot to pull over?
Yeah, we'll pull over just like they do.
Let's pull over just like they do.
Hey, can I ask you guys some questions? Excuse me. Excuse me. Hey, can I just ask you some questions? Hey, you guys, I just want to ask you if you're getting started on here or not. I'm trying to give you a fair report. You guys just getting started on the roads? Or you guys been going for a while? How much longer? That's kind of weird. You guys ask for people to talk to you, but you guys don't say nothing.
They won't stop for any of our ranges to talk.
No, leave it.
You should film them.
Just go. Skip that content. Get in the car.
But even this unusual encounter was nothing compared to what we would experience the following year, when the burners would show us time and again what they're really about. In the meantime, the results of the 2023 BLM inspection were hard to believe. Annie Bond could barely contain her excitement as she posted the news to TikTok.
Guess what, y'all? We did it.
We passed. There were so many haters. You can suck it.
Burning Man consistently touts their unbroken record of passing BLM inspections as one of their highest points of pride.
The BLM inspects this site after the event, and year after year after year, it's passed via inspections because everybody is working together to make this happen.
The following year, we would attend the inspection in person for the first time, and to say that we were in for a shock would be an understatement. Very soon, you'll see the truth about just how loosely Burning Man's permit is enforced. When Burning Man 2024 rolled around, we were ready. 4 days before the event ended, we headed out to the Black Rock Desert to see how the environment was doing in the midst of the festival. Crucially, we did not violate the BLM closure issued to Burning Man. However, our presence seemed to agitate the Black Rock Rangers, who once again headed out to intercept us.
How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
All right. My name's Yando.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
So, just curious what your intentions are. Are you here to
just enjoying our public land?
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's great. And what I'm here to do is let you know that on the other side of the railroad tracks is a temporary closure area for the Burning Man event. Okay. So on this side of the tracks, you guys, we're all good here.
Right, don't cross the tracks.
Yeah. Well, you can cross the tracks, but then, you're subject to talking to me when I have a less friendly voice.
Yando the Ranger offered to escort us to a better vantage point to view Black Rock City, but we decided to document the scene independently. As we drove on, we happened upon even more wildlife, proving that the Black Rock Desert is far from the desolate wasteland it is sometimes portrayed as. The area might have been relatively tidy before Burning Man ended, but But by the last day of the event, the influx of garbage was more out of control than ever.
Just dumping outside of there or what?
Traffic hazards were also a major concern again. But it wasn't until we got to Fernley that we discovered the foulest evidence of the burner exodus. When inspecting the dumpsters at Walmart, we discovered this biohazard. As shocking as it may be to see, it certainly is no surprise to Burning Man insiders.
There was also an uptick in people that were in garbage bags and then dropping them along the highway and or at the dumpsters in Nixon. And folks in Nixon were really, really not thrilled with that.
Bottles of pee, why can't people just dump it in the potty? This completely eludes me. But apparently some people get halfway home with their piss pots and urine urns and, then they decide to leave these things on the side of the road.
It also became obvious that even this far from the event location, the burners didn't want us filming. The refuse in Fernley and Reno already seemed to suggest that the trash problem was even more dire this year. But even with that in mind, we still weren't fully prepared for the extent of the destruction found on Highway 447. Annie Bond, one of the Burning Man managers, once again took to TikTok to discuss the situation.
There is always going to be trash blowout and stuff left after any event. It's just going to happen that way.
Regardless, Annie Bond continued to praise Burning Man's leave no trace procedures.
So I'm out here on the side of the road. I want to show you, I'm like an hour away from Burning Man still. See all this? I'm still far, far away. Far, far away. Far, far, far away. It really is in the middle of absolutely nowhere things that people are doing to mitigate the trash problems.
When we ventured into the brush just off the highway, we found even more outrageous evidence of burner activity. On the way home that night, we stopped by Reno again to document how the city was slowly but surely being buried under everything the burners left behind. A little over 3 weeks later, on the day that Burning Man's special recreation permit expired, we headed out to check on the restoration efforts, with perhaps some new trepidation. While Annie Bond criticizing us on TikTok was nothing new, her statements had become increasingly harsh and even vaguely threatening.
We already talked to the Bureau of Land Management. They said the permit was expired. It's open to the public today.
However, there were still many signs of ongoing activity.
So they're done. I'd say they're done.
There's dumpsters. Do you see the dumpster?
Yeah.
So say with me, no public dumpsters!
Even though the BLM stated outright that no one would be out on the playa, it seemed that just like the year prior, restoration was not completed within the time frame allotted in the special recreation permit.
So we're gonna go over here to the porta potties on this side. They're way out there. I just wanted to be very clear where they're at. We're going way out this way.
You show how far we are from them.
Despite going nowhere near the workers, it wasn't long before they came to us.
Coming from behind, coming towards us. I don't think you can see it, but here they come straight for us. Just so look over here. I want to show. I'm going to just go ahead and see. There's this one here, and there's someone else coming out back behind us. So I just do a quick U-turn so you can see.
Yeah.
So that nobody's around us. Look in your mirror. Can you see in your mirror?
Yep. And here's one right here.
But here they come right now. See if they just go by us and they try to stop and talk to us like usual. See this?
Why are you saying no, dude? What are you doing? What are you doing, dude?
Hey, we're working here. We still got a permit for this area.
No, you don't. You don't have a permit. I talked to the BLM yesterday. I talked to them. I can give you the name. You don't have a permit.
We'll get the Rangers on you.
Do it, please.
Just moments later, another truck approached.
So I want you to see who's harassing who. Here they come from way over there. We're not even going towards that area. I want it to be very clear where we're going. Going extremely far away from these people.
You want me to show how we're going? Not even in their direction.
Sure. And they're gonna try to like intercept us with 2 vehicles. Is this our friend again? Oh, this is a different guy. It's kind of fun talking to them though. Maybe we should talk.
Like just dusting them out.
Look at this guy.
What's he got to be so mad about? Look at his little blinks.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
get out. Let's see what he wants to do something.
Why are they blocked? Just so they're blocking us.
You're following us around, or? You know that you're in a construction zone right now? I'm actually not. I talked to the Bureau of Land Management today. I got a name for somebody that told me I can die. Your permit's expired. Do you know you're lying right now? You're not. This is an abuse of your permit. Do you realize that? We're with the media. Excuse me? That is incorrect. That is really correct. You want to call the Bureau of Land Management on us?
Yeah, call him.
Come on.
We diverted even further away from the Burning Man activity despite the fact that the closure order was expired and the burners had no right to obstruct access.
You guys are not supposed to be within the zones here.
That's not true. You guys' permit is expired as of today. You guys are not supposed to be here.
That's not true. Our
Your permit's expired.
What was the name of the lady?
Glenda.
Glenda with the BLM. You might want to talk to her. She said you guys are all gone out here, so you might want to talk to the Bureau of Land Management. But you guys, she said you guys were gone, and that
cleanup's done.
Cleanup is done. So
it's not done.
That's not. It's even online. It tells you that the last day is today. So again, you guys are not being honest. I wonder how that'll affect your guys' permit to come out here when you're harassing people. You guys are totally harassing us. You're bugging us. We're
They just
allowed to be
blocked us
here.
with about 2 cars.
Oh, we are.
We are
Why don't
allowed
you
to
have
be
the
here.
Bureau of Land Management come out and tell us that?
Get any closer, we'll be actual problems.
What problems do you want to bring?
Radical inclusion is an important principle for me because it's about looking at every single person who's here and every single person on the planet and seeing them as a fellow human being.
Is this radically inclusive of you?
This is post-event.
It's over. Your permit is expired.
Yes, it is.
It
Yes.
is.
Yes, it is. You're lying.
It's totally expired, man. Your permit's expired.
Can you get a picture with you?
Okay. Do we look good? We look good?
Get his license plate too. Oh, we gotta save it. So this is what they let them do on our public land. Isn't that crazy? Show how we're going far away from these people. Show this guy following us again and harassing us on public land, which is a crime in Nevada. And I hope to God when the sheriffs get here, they actually enforce that.
Optimistic that help was on the way, we headed out to collect some soil samples to test for contamination. Little did we know that things were about to go haywire.
This is how far we are. Just want to make it clear. Look at this is where we are. Do a pan, a 360 pan. And here they come again. They're like trying to come out here and they're trying to intimidate us.
Soon, deputies from the Washoe County Sheriff's Department arrived, hopefully to put a quick end to the harassment. But with the burners being less than honest about how things had transpired, the situation unfolded in a way we would have never expected.
We've just not been engaging at all, just letting them get too close. It's a big distraction for the crew. Just constantly like, they're over here, they're over here, they're over here. It's a huge distraction.
To just be all in the middle of it is, kind of antagonistic.
They're the ones who should be out of here. People using their vehicles as weapons to prevent the press from freely going around and documenting what's going on here. That's a First Amendment violation. So I don't understand. You should be telling them to leave us alone.
So right now they're doing the final restoration.
Yeah, but their permit is expired.
On Black Rock City.
I talked to the Bureau of Land Management. Their permit is expired. We talked to. She told us we can come out here and we can be out here. And we can go anywhere we want out here because our permit is expired. Yeah, they're the ones who aren't supposed to be here.
And he told us that our permit is invalid and that he has specific special allowance from the BLM to be media here and blah, blah, blah.
From my understanding, just from what they told me, that there is still a closure in place for the cleanup effort.
I'm telling you, there's no closure in place.
Okay, I'm just telling you.
Hey, do you know Pershing County? Can you call them? I talked to them.
They
will tell you that.
They dispatched me here.
Really?
Yes.
And they told you there was a closure in place.
Well, that's what the notes in the call say. So we're gonna figure out what's going on.
They told us something totally different.
They said there's no closure.
Okay.
Ironically, even the Burning Man workers appeared to believe that their closure was expired.
The closure order goes till the 1st. It's fine.
The document that we have says the 28th, but if you have something that says the 1st, that's awesome. Our both the website says the 28th and our stuff says through the 28th, but if you see something that says through the 1st.
So word of mouth we got from one person to another that it got verbally pushed back because of the rain closure.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay.
So nothing on paper.
The confusion may arise from Burning Man's special recreation permit, which does extend to October 1st. In addition to giving them permission to use the land, the permit requires that they allow others to use the public land without interference. This is separate from the closure order, which is said to expire on September 28th, as stated on BLM's website. A close examination of Burning Man's closure orders will find no clauses allowing for verbal changes to the final dates.
They did get delayed by 3 days because of weather conditions. So they might be running past the date that's in their contract.
Well, but that's a contract's a contract. That's all they're allowed to be out here.
Despite having hard evidence that the closure was no longer in effect, we were told by the responding deputies that things had somehow changed.
Here it is, right here. You can read it on the BLM website right here. It tells you when the closure ends. It says 2024. It goes until September 28th.
So that's phase 1.
That's phase 2 is over in September 7th.
We just talked to them yesterday. They said it's today.
Then you were misinformed, which sucks.
So that site's wrong.
Yep.
The person at the BLM is wrong.
Yep.
It's weird because we were out here last year, exact same day. We interacted with Andy, who was over there, the BLM officer then.
Okay.
And it was the same situation, but he was like, yeah, you can be out here.
Okay.
And he told them they need to chill out and leave us alone.
Okay.
And they told him that, like, even though the closure order is over, so you're allowed to be in the area, there's still rules about, like, harassing people or whatever, that they told them you still got to keep your distance and not interfere with their work and not, like, try to go in our path of where we're going to try to block us or whatever.
Weirdly, this is exactly what Andy from BLM promised to tell the burners last year.
So I had a conversation with the supervisor.
Okay.
He's gonna talk with the Rangers. Tell them to just hang back, not so that they're gonna follow you around or anything.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Did you say we were harassing him?
Yeah. Well, so his allegation was that they were driving their vehicles toward him like they were trying to use him as a weapon and then blocking him in, is what he gave me.
So our Rangers, they protect us when people are driving 70 miles an hour through the site, because we have 120 something people out here.
You show how far we are from them.
And then when people approach us, we engage.
Just way out there is where they're working.
Let me zoom all the way out.
Were you in one of the vehicles or did you? Okay, so that's kind of what I'm looking for is what that looked like.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk to my manager.
Okay.
In the meantime, we explained to the deputies that extending the closure was a protracted, complex process that clearly hadn't taken place.
Just so I can be clear on something, last year we were here. Remember they had that mud? And we were here, and the BLM was here, and they had an extension then too. But the BLM officer on duty said, you guys can definitely be here because it's not a closure. They have to go to Congress, I believe, and get the actual, it's not just like, hey, I'm going to extend your time and now you're going to close off public land to the people. You have to literally have a process, and the people have to be able to hear that and all that. Call the BLM. You talk to them, you're telling them they're supposed to be out here.
Well, like she was telling you, we would have had them come talk to you guys, but the field office over here, when I drove by at about noon, looked like it was unstaffed. Come to find out, I guess a lot of them are in Florida right now.
Last year when the lines were walking this way and he went down and then turned around and started driving at like 5 miles an hour towards the lines while the lines are walking this way. And then we decided to like call it for the day.
When he started like driving towards the lines and like towards people, it's like that's when our Rangers just blocked, and we're like, that's as close as you're gonna get. And then he followed us to our shoreline and then was just videotaping us at the shoreline. We were talking to our people and they're like, is it egregious? Well, I'm like, define egregious here, because, you know, he's like circling, he's right behind the lines. He was tailgating our heavy machinery, and our heavy machinery people like, what is happening? So I talked to my people. I'm like, all right, everybody stand down. We need everybody de-escalate. This person is a creep and he's going to be creeping us, but do not engage.
Judging by today's actions on the part of the Rangers, it's not clear when this message was sent out.
Then he went to the highway and he saw our highway cleanup team cleaning up locally here on 34. And the highway cleanup team was around the curve, like the blind curve over there. And he stopped in the middle of the road and was saying things like, hey, what are you guys hiding? What are you this and that and the other thing? And they were really freaked out because they were like, it was just like not a safe place to be.
In reality, of course, there was nothing unsafe about our interactions with the highway workers.
Hey, you guys, I just want to ask you if you're getting started on here or not. I'm trying to give you a fair report.
And while we'd originally called law enforcement to make sure there was an ongoing record of the burners trying to block our movements on public land, the deputies had apparently made up their minds about who was in the wrong.
So right now, I was advised to issue you
by who?
A no trespass by my sergeant and by the BLM representative for this area.
Okay, BLM representative. That's good. That's a good number.
Do we have their name? It's just a warning right now.
Okay.
So if you're
trespassing us on public land. That's crazy. Public land.
If you choose to honor it and leave, then that is what it is.
Well,
and if you choose to stay, then you could be arrested.
If you want to come out here after October 1st, then you're good to go.
Left with the unmistakable takeaway that BLM had, for some reason, told us the playa was open, only to turn around and have us trespassed, we reflected on this bizarre turn of events as the burners got chummy with the sheriff's department.
If he's slowly driving toward your crew, I mean, how close are you going to let a motor vehicle get to a pedestrian? If I would make it clear, like, don't box people in to where they can't leave. So then you're potentially looking at, other issues. But yeah, if someone's driving toward your crew and it doesn't look like they're going to stop, yeah, that seems reasonable.
Yeah, he wasn't doing it at high speed. He was doing it at low speed. And the Ranger was also in low speed going in front of him.
If I was just a civilian, I would have just been like, I would have called law enforcement right away.
I get it. I'm going to give you my work number. So, if it's something where you're like, hey, something weird's going on here, then you can call me.
It's nice.
Yeah, there's a thing right there. Wait. Oh, I see it, yeah. Oh, and is that? No, that's not a tent stake. It's a star.
And there's a double whammy.
On, somebody's outfit there. They had that like attached or whatever. And that just, fell off while they were driving. Yeah, this is a part that hasn't been walked yet. So you can see the delineator there. Track that one to its owner.
When we come out here after the closure to document it as a press, as freedom of the press, you guys are violating my First Amendment rights, man.
So this is really weird to me.
Well, and yep, we're just the ones following orders, essentially.
And like she explained, it's a warning, so that's all it is.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. So the Sarge is going to look into this more on our side.
Okay.
And because he doesn't like what's going on either, and that we're stuck in the middle of this, and so but he can't do anything until office is open on Monday.
Despite some serious concerns about how this situation was handled, we obeyed the baffling no trespassing citation and stayed off the playa for the required 3 days. We should point out that the police report says we were trespassed for violating Burning Man's permit, which specifically requires event workers to allow others to use the public land. Perhaps it was to be expected after all. Each year, Burning Man gives the Washoe County Sheriff's Office 6 figures in reimbursement funds for extra staffing of deputies during the event. In 2024, that number was expected to be north of $129,000. As for Pershing County, Deputy Catherine Rogers and her husband are among the law enforcement officials who have collected extra pay for Burning Man duty, according to public record. And then County Commissioner of Pershing County Larry Rackley told us in 2023 that the commissioners had been known to attend the event.
Several commissioners go out for a day. Myself, I've been out 3 different times as a commissioner, and I was also out there once in my working life. Our sheriff, of course, so he's really involved with the BLM, especially out there on the playa. They use a common facility, and then the sheriff would tell you probably that he works intimately with the BLM law enforcement side because they have a big presence at Burning Man.
And remember, the deputies themselves acknowledged that they were doing this on behalf of the BLM. Specifically, the report notes that BLM Ranger Garrett Sarchinella made the request. This was the same Garrett Sarchinella who's been praised online for treating illegal trash dumps in the desert like murder investigations. But his standard apparently doesn't apply when the culprit is Burning Man, in which case he'd rather have anyone documenting their destruction thrown off public land. In 2020, thousands showed up to the playa even though the official Burning Man event was canceled due to COVID-19. At the gathering, Sarchinella was quoted saying, "I'm glad to have the opportunity to help Americans enjoy their public lands." And while his post certainly suggests that he's happy to perform that service for the burners, the citation we left with that day showed that certain public land users came before others. No great surprise, seeing as how he's been seen hanging out in Burning Man camps in previous years, where he was praised by attendees as, quote, "very cool to talk to." On October 3rd, we returned, only to be greeted with lies and propaganda.
Truck is back again. It is 12:03 in the afternoon. I don't even know if I can see them. They're way out there. Can you see? There they are. Look at them looking at our shit. The sheriffs were called because, look, they're really all up it again.
Okay, we are here. As you can see, everything's been removed off the sign. So it should be open to us, but even though I guarantee you we're probably going to run into some issues with these people because they seem to harass us and hassle us every time they come out here. There's trash literally right there. But they're still out there cleaning, and we're going to go show you all their stuff. Let's go. The closure was over on the 28th. Somehow BLM is just allowed to, indefinitely extend it without any public comment or anything else. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you the date. Today's date, so because they like to lie and they like to pretend like this is the wrong date. So we're gonna go ahead and go to Google. What's today's date? Oh, look at it right there. It's October 3rd, 2024, and they're still here.
Just like the year before, all heavy equipment, dumpsters, and cleanup crew were supposed to be off the playa after the permit expired. In light of this, the reaction of the Burning Man workers to our arrival was telling.
Look, they have dumpsters.
They have dumpsters over there. I want to get this first. So
there's someone running. They're running into the other building right now.
A woman in a Black Rock Rangers vehicle kept watch, though apparently reluctant to be observed herself.
Why are they hiding like that?
Other Rangers simply glared at our presence.
That's angry eyebrows. Yeah. He's really angry again. Look how serious they are. He's a little too serious for Burning Man.
Yeah.
Not funny, guys.
But the burners themselves aren't as much of an issue as the wreckage they were leaving in their wake.
They literally dug an entire trench and it goes all the way out there, and I guarantee you it runs to like a generator over there, and it runs all the way back.
In a newsletter from 2000, Burning Man specifically warned attendees not to dig holes in the playa for generators or any other reason. Holes, they wrote, leave a trace. They didn't mention the holes left behind by the creation of their event, many of which are far larger and more devastating than the shallow ravine we'd come across here.
So basically they just run a cord, like some kind of line down that.
It looks really weird though.
Right here.
Where?
Just went above the truck.
Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah, I got it.
Indeed, it was hard not to notice the abundance of birds.
Animals on the playa.
Mm-hmm. Look, there's birds even in their truck.
Oh, wow.
I thought there were no animals on the playa.
A 2017 advisory from the National Department of Wildlife found that northern goshawks, peregrine falcons, and prairie falcons have been observed in the closure area where Burning Man takes place, and reported that 15 known raptor nest sites could be found within 10 miles of it. Reports also note that bighorn sheep roam year-round in the southwest portion of the closure area. Of course, wildlife cannot be a surprise to Burning Man attendees, who last year, after the storms, found their camps overrun with fairy shrimp hatchlings. We asked Damian Cooper of the Friends of Black Rock how the flooding and subsequent driving from the 2023 event affected the fairy shrimp eggs.
Well, I'm not really a scientist or anything, so I don't really know how that impacted the fairy shrimp. You know, it was quite the mess. I'm not going to lie about that.
On the subject of wildlife, it isn't limited to fairy shrimp, as demonstrated by a video Annie Bond posted in 2025, just as the event was getting started.
Some people in line found a snake.
There he is. Just little baby snake.
And in 2024, she posted a video of herself handling one of the desert's smallest creatures, kangaroo rat pups.
Oh, sweet. Oh, buddy. Don't do it. My friend found these. I don't know if they'll live.
That uncertainty could plague the entire playa's delicate ecosystem if the destruction continues.
It's really dirty. Because look at the crust here. There's no crust here. It's like been packed down so tight.
Yeah, I know. That's because they run it over and then they spray water on it and they just pack it down and think that's leave no trace.
It's worth noting that the effects of Burning Man aren't limited to what is being done to the ground. In a 2018 report, it was found that during the 2017 event, air quality reached particulate matter levels between 8 and 14 times the National Ambient Air Quality Standards threshold. Outdoor air pollution of this kind is classified as a carcinogen, linked to increased risk of heart disease, lung disease, and premature death, according to the EPA. The report, which was commissioned by the Bureau of Land Management, attributes the pollution to dust generated by vehicle and foot traffic during the festival. As for the playa itself, the damage only grew more obvious when compared with the land surrounding the festival grounds.
So as you can see, we get further away from the Black Rock City. You can start to see that this ground becomes less and less disturbed.
That's not to say it was untouched, far from it in fact, which was highlighted when we reached the stark boundary between the festival area and the intact playa.
Look at the ruts and everything where the trash goes. So here's where the trash thing, you can totally look how it changes from there to there.
Wow, hang on, I should get out.
Oh, we should definitely get out.
That's crazy.
This is how it changes from there to there. It's like completely different. Like if you look over that way, the ground is completely disturbed. Look how flat it looks over there. And then you look at that side and it's just completely destroyed. Like the ground has been so disturbed here. And this is along their trash fence right here. This is what it looks like. But ruts make me sad. How far away we are. Don't make any weird again. It's scraped off. It scraped off the whole crust with heavy equipment in a national conservation area. Kind of brutal, right? I mean, look, there's a burn scar right here. These are burn scars, I'm pretty sure.
After having a fire on the playa, it leaves a permanent burn scar that leaves the ground miscolored.
I see some more burn scars right there. Burn scars right there. Hey, look, dude, total burn scars.
Oh yeah, they're not supposed to have it on the surface. Burn scars aren't supposed to be on the surface of the playa. There's burn scars all over.
Is there really?
Yeah.
We collected some samples of the burned surface, only to find an unexpected surprise mixed in with the soil.
See all the nails? There's nails all over this.
Well, let's just pan around and show how there's literally nobody around.
There's more nails. Another nail. Look at that. Nail. All these nails in here. Leave no trace, my friends.
Unlike on previous occasions, the rangers kept their distance, which gave us the opportunity to survey the area with a metal detector. Keep in mind that, according to Burning Man, none of this should be here.
So Tomcat.
Yes.
Why do you use a rake to clean things up?
Well, sometimes there's stuff that's, buried under the surface. If we were raking, that stuff comes right up, so.
Nails. It's the sound of a nail. More metal there. You hear the metal. More metal. More nails here. I would bet those are nails. Definitely iron. You hear it every day. So, I mean, some more burn stuff here, more burn scars. Oh. And they'd walk right by this and not see anything because they don't pay any attention to this.
the playa and Burning Man, it all happens in layers, and so dust storms come in just layers and layers and layers and layers, and sometimes it'll take us 5 passes on a spot to actually make it perfect.
Well, that's interesting. There's a lot of iron in this ground, a lot of garbage hidden that's below the surface that you don't get to see, which is something they also do not talk about. I know it's awfully quiet about that. It's just basically BLM's only concern is what's on top of the soil. And that's kind of ridiculous if you think about it, because once this thing gets wet, everything sinks.
That would be proven again and again as the investigation continued.
It's on the top of the surface, you can see it. Set it down, hope you smell.
Yep. That's it.
There were other discoveries that required neither a metal detector nor a shovel.
I'm even kidding.
Probably is.
Do you see that?
Is it? Wouldn't surprise me. Oh yeah, it looks like it, for real.
It was, of course, a little surprise to find the workers still on the playa 2 days later, despite the expiration date on their permit.
Here we are. We're on October 5th. Their permit expired 5 days ago.
Nevertheless, the burners continue to act as if they own this piece of Nevada's public land. An almost unbearable irony.
Florida, Washington, California, like one Nevada.
The out-of-state vacationers soon decided that if we were going to be on the scene, they were going to go elsewhere.
Don't you think it's a little weird they scatter?
I don't understand why they can't just continue to clean. Toasting it, destroying it.
What do you think they're probably making up all kinds of that we're like doing all kinds of crazy stuff out there?
Mm-hmm.
This is the last stand of the Cybertruck, guys. The Cybertruck is speeding at us at 100 miles an hour.
As it turned out, that was pretty close to the truth.
The Cybertruck is back again. There he is. It's been stalking us for like 2 hours now. And we just don't engage, I guess. But it sucks that they're still stalking us. I think we just got ourselves a new fleet vehicle, that's what. Look how close he is. So you can't necessarily see him because he's blocked by a vehicle, but he is right there on our line.
Indeed, the Rangers were up to their usual tricks, apparently under the mistaken impression that they retained some form of authority on the playa.
She can't walk you like that and show how we're going away from her. Got her plates.
But Annie Bond kept pushing a narrative online to rile her supporters.
This Cybertruck is being the absolute muscle. He is on our line, super close to us.
The visitors are helping. I propose getting on the bus sooner rather than 5.
Our patience led to the capture of some of the rarest playa footage. The burners actually picking up debris. And something even rarer, a moment of friendliness.
Oh. There she
Hi!
Way back?
Yeah.
But only a moment.
She looked away really fast. No, she did. Get away.
Did she?
Yeah.
But the burners were in a festive mood on the last day of their restoration project, apparently confident that they had done the job well, or at least well enough for the Bureau of Land Management's inspection, which was only 2 short days away. And this time, we would be there to record it all.
So it's an intense standard that the BLM puts on Burning Man.
And that process has led to many more requirements on our permit than we have ever seen. And so that process has been challenging.
Burning Man is held to and operates within the highest standard of leave no trace that I have ever experienced of any event I have ever worked.
This year, we decided to see for ourselves if these lofty claims were justified. The Bureau of Land Management was no help determining when the inspection was scheduled, telling us specifically that the date was, quote, undetermined. Miraculously, however, it appeared that Burning Man workers had known the exact date of the inspection for weeks in advance, and with a little help from an inside source, we found that date as well.
So we got here just in time.
I know. How'd we do that? How'd we pull that off?
Despite this being the much anticipated day of inspection, however, it was a long way from the strict enforcement oversight that Burning Man representatives had advertised.
So it's kind of a catch-22 of sorts, that we've created our own rules and regulations, and now we're having to have BLM enforce them.
It wouldn't be the first time a Burning Man official has bristled at BLM's authority. Here, Burning Man's Associate Director of Government Affairs lists some of the oversight suggestions that they take issue with.
BLM security searches, surveillance of our employees while they build the city and do playa restoration.
We'd certainly seen how reluctant these burners were to be observed, but we remained curious how this inspection would play out, given the Herculean effort that would be required to examine more than 50,000 acres of playa in only a day.
Burning Man takes place on BLM public lands, and so we permit this event to take place through what's called a special recreation permit. So we work very closely with Black Rock City, the event organizers.
On site, however, a different story began to emerge.
Yeah.
No.
Anyone ever looked at BLM? Where is he at? At the end there? Is that the BLM guy?
I don't know, I haven't spoken with him.
So there's no one out here for the inspection, no BLM?
Come to find out, I guess a lot of them are in Florida right now.
Even when we found signs of BLM on the playa, their presence was limited solely to volunteers here to provide this wildly underwhelming inspection with the facade of oversight.
What kind of plate's that? Is that BLM?
Yes. Good.
Why is she putting stuff in her car?
It was neither the first nor the last sign that the ties between BLM and Burning Man were a bit too cozy for comfort.
How would you say the cooperation has been between BRC safety and BLM safety?
Pretty much seamless. I've worked with the safety officer for BRC. We've got 3 or 4 night shifts together. We'll patrol around for 2-3 hours at a time.
And we have an awesome relationship with the Black Rock Rangers. And we continue to develop that.
It began to seem like this awesome relationship could set the stage for a very lax inspection process.
Okay, 1 full circle. Nice. Everything you've collected in the bag. Woo!
Yeah, someone should have the bag.
While it may seem doubtful that this process would be sufficient for the thousands of acres upon which Black Rock City is built, it is indeed exactly what is prescribed in Burning Man's 2024 guide and celebrated as a superhuman effort at their live events.
1 acre is 42,560 square feet. That's the size of a football field, if you can imagine that, without the end zones. And then a square foot is about an album cover that you threw into a shredder. And basically the inspection is like, hey, if we threw this album cover into a shredder and spread it out amongst a football field, can you put it back together? That's what the test is.
Oh, this is crazy. This is how they do it? A little spot like this?
Yeah, of course they're gonna pass.
Just let me know also if you guys want to stop at any point.
Yeah. We're used to taking a break around an hour and a half after work.
Okay. Sounds great. And I'm just gonna go the same speed. I do have a lot of people to let me know. Your speed was fine.
I bet you nobody knows this is how it's done. They call it an inspection.
I know.
The event site itself is thousands of square acres, large, and we are only allowed to have 0.002% of trash left on site in order to pass the BLM inspection.
But statements like this disguise the face that the BLM inspection, if you can call it that given their absence, doesn't cover anywhere near the entire event site. Instead, volunteers choose 120 little spots on the playa, walk around in small circles, and call it a day. And even for the tiny amount of ground the groups actually cover, the inspection is clearly insufficient.
It's like stuck in there. Can't even pop it out. Oh, there's more right here.
Just show how weird it is.
Oh, look how much is all over, and they're just like, so weird.
The Bureau of Land Management is ostensibly aware of the problems associated with 70,000 people leaving microdebris on the playa year after year, writing in 2019 that bits of paper, clothing particles, and can tabs could escape the perimeter fence or become buried by activity during the event itself.
So none of these are supposed to be on here.
According to the BLM, leaving huge amounts of microdebris out here year after year could eventually ruin the sense of naturalness and remoteness visitors enjoy about the playa. In prior years, post-event BLM inspections would report finding as many as 1 million pieces of microdebris, extrapolations based on examining a fraction of the playa. But in 2016, even this oversight went away as BLM moved their inspections toward a purely visual standard. One might expect the Friends of Black Rock Conservation Group to object to this lenient standard, but then again, maybe not. In addition to one of their board members being a Bureau of Land Management retiree, the group receives considerable funding from the BLM.
They definitely aren't getting every piece out there. You know, there's definitely stuff left behind. I just don't feel like it's as disastrous as some people would think, you know?
Perhaps knowing that any video of their so-called inspection process would paint an unflattering picture of the Leave No Trace policy, the burners went back to demonstrating their commitment to radical inclusion.
Why'd you say quick like this?
I'm gonna try and block us.
It's so weird. Why is she not so weird?
I don't know, man. They're not allowed to talk to us. Remember, that's what they said last year.
The bus driver didn't exactly leave a warm impression behind, but she did leave some oil on the ground.
Do you see this?
They're not supposed to. It's against their permit to do that.
Official Burning Man and BLM videos warn that debris, sewage, and other contaminants can sink into the soil.
And so if people aren't using their trailers properly or not keeping track of how full it could eventually spill. And so we're having to dig that all up and make sure that it's not affecting the playa.
The playa is a living ecosystem, and we got to make sure we can't have oil spills, we can't have black water and gray water spills. We can't really have any contamination of the playa.
Of course, to listen to Burning Man's Marnie Benson, one would believe that these are no longer relevant issues.
Things like fuel storage, oil drips, and burn scars have all come up in the past as new trends that we have successfully addressed.
They talk a good game, but when we sent soil samples to a laboratory for blind testing, the findings were shocking. We took the lab results to an expert in chemical systems and engineering. Without knowing anything about the source of the soil, he presumed the soil, which had been taken from random spots around Black Rock City, had come from an area where heavy equipment had been operating for some time. When he looked at the results from samples taken from Burning Man's fuel station area, he said there were clear indications of moderate to high hydrocarbons present in the soil. The reports show strong levels of contaminants and conclude that soil remediation may be necessary. In other words, Burning Man has turned a pristine environment inside a national conservation area into something that is scientifically indistinguishable from an industrial site. This includes petroleum oil readings nearly 9,500 times above detection thresholds. This isn't the contamination of mere dirt. This is the long-term destruction of a sealed alkaline lake bed that won't recover. Instead of breaking down, these hydrocarbons spread, leach, and linger in the soil. Local resident John Bogard was not surprised about the results.
They get every diesel generator in all the western states. I mean, you see truckloads of generators going out. They're running lights, they're burning propane vents. It's just an incredible energy waste. So I think it's all going to collapse at some point.
Damian Cooper of the Friends of Black Rock also expressed his thoughts on the findings.
Definitely disturbing. And I'm not quite sure as what our organization could actually even do about that, because BLM is going to let the Burning Man happen because they make so much money off of it. There's no way that I'm going to be able to stop that. They make millions of dollars on the permit, and I'm pretty sure they want to keep making that money.
If it wasn't for BLM issuing a permit for Burning Man, there would be no Burning Man. But the main head there is BLM.
Nobody wants this event to end because everyone's making so much money off it. The police, the state of Nevada, you know, there's a bunch of rich hippies coming out to this desert every year, and everybody wants a piece of that pie.
Whatever the BLM's conflicts may be, they certainly know how contaminating the ground can affect what's underneath it.
The creatures that live in the Black Rock, you've just now mentioned the fairy shrimp.
The fairy shrimp who lay their eggs in the playa in that season when there's standing water, they hatch and provide food for migratory birds.
The playa is also home to freshwater crustaceans called triops that, much like the fairy shrimp, give the migratory birds something to eat on their way through Nevada. Even the Friends of Black Rock know about these creatures, just as they surely know that the contamination of this ecosystem could be catastrophic to these delicate life forms, a fact that even Burning Man acknowledges. Back on the playa, the dubious inspection continued. The team showed little interest in anything they couldn't see with the naked eye, which was strange given that Burning Man officials seemed to understand the problem.
Dust storms are coming to bury your moop, you guys. Say it with me.
What would they do if I started metal detecting?
I don't know.
Anything left on playa is moop.
And that's all over.
Look at this inspection is silly. This is the most, I can't even believe this is how the inspection goes. They're not serious at all. Right down the surface, dude.
This is right where the
Right where they were looking, right there. See it? Right there. Look at that.
And this is right. That's where the stake was.
Yes.
With the burners possibly still under the delusion that they could dictate where others could and could not be on the playa, an inspection team began talking over the radio about their uninvited guests.
Yeah, I asked Rangers to just keep an eye that the timer truck
If it's really in there, I might also have a shovel in the back of my truck.
While no one is around.
Which one of those man will have some steel toes and have some picks too?
So then we can get some leverage under it.
Yeah, the first stuff, you could probably wrap the end of this line around.
I got a metal detector if you guys want to scan this area for metal underneath the ground. I think yesterday I found a whole bunch.
Alright. Yes.
Alas, no one shows any interest in that offer, but that didn't stop us from continuing to investigate on our own.
Only using a single metric. Just what's on top of the soil. Completely ignoring everything below the soil. So much metal, even way out here. So they were only concerned about the top.
Here's some right here, look at.
They're conducting their own inspection. They're doing it themselves. How weird. Oh no, that's the metal underneath the ground.
Are we doing a lot of leaving no tracing? Yes, we are.
I think that proves the point, doesn't it?
But as the teams began to sense that their inspection was being exposed, the lurking Black Rock Rangers made their presence felt. Soon, one ranger would escalate the intimidation to a level beyond what we had seen thus far. But in the meantime, we caught up with one of our biggest fans, Annie Bond herself.
Getting him out of the truck and
Annie Bond is filming kind of secretly.
There you are. Like halfway there.
Did you see that?
R60, sorry.
Turn the radio down.
As Annie and her fellow inspectors left the site, we gave them friendly farewells.
She did a look of disgust to me.
But Annie made it clear that it was no laughing matter.
The girl, I guess her name's Emma, did have the audacity to wave at me. Which is like, you're not even supposed to be here. Why do you think any of us would be interacting with you in any capacity outside of filming you for our own safety and records.
But despite Annie's certainty that everyone in her circle would harbor the same ill feelings toward us, one burner approached with a much different attitude.
We all just get along. That's what we think when we come out here. Well, you know, just come out here and try to watch the progress.
Well, in fact, that has always been my suggestion.
You're the one that's came up talk to us.
That's been my suggestion all the time. You know, I'm sure the office would have a, main office say something like, y'all want to come and look at this?
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah, but everyone acts so weird towards us.
Well, it's because last year we also had some other people, and there was this perception, it was very unfortunate, that there was something going on here that was nefarious.
Yeah, well, it feels like it when you're out here and you have these like trucks following you all over the
place. Part of it, a big chunk of that is the fact that during the interdiction, especially early, and one of the things that happens, one of the things we've had happen, people come out and they're like little desert buggies and stuff. There is still, from where we're standing, there could be a big old long spike of steel in the ground right now that you don't see until you run over it, and then that comes up through your floorboards. So much of our interdiction is about, you don't want to be out here running over the...
Yeah. I would say that the most trash I find is from just regular people coming out here to camp, and probably hunters, people coming out and shooting guns and just leaving their shell casings everywhere.
We've had people run over a tea stake in the ground.
While that warning might seem slightly at odds with the philosophy of leave no trace, it was surprising and impressive to encounter a burner willing to communicate in ways other than intimidation and harassment.
Yeah. Our workers are a bunch of strange people. They do have they do have an expectation of privacy.
We're just watching, and next thing you know, we're seeing on TikTok we're being threatened, Annie Bond
TikTok.
saying hey,
how about TikTok? Okay, I'm sorry. I think that's a whole piece of wreckage.
Then you get Annie Bond saying things like, "Oh, you better not come to town," and it's like, what is wrong? You let people to come out here and be a part of this and see what's going on and watch the cleanup.
That's been my less than popular approach all along. We got ain't nothing hiding here. What? We got a big hole in the ground. We got some trafficked children were extracting their adrenal glands or something. So that's a thing.
The worst part of everything at Burning Man is the drug atmosphere. And that drug atmosphere is not only around all the adults that live there, but there's kids, children that go out there, and that same drug activity is around them as well.
Cool. And I'm probably in trouble for standing here. I don't care. I hope not. You're people. Besides, I got the first chance I got to come look at one of these things close up.
Unfortunately, this worker's philosophy remained an anomaly here on the playa, and we soon found ourselves in the middle of our strangest encounter yet.
I know weird thing to do. That first one, they went so fast, there was no way they even... There's not even a BLM ranger out here and watching the inspection. Think how brutal that's going to look.
That's really weird.
Is there more of them out that way?
Yep, right out there. Let's go that way.
This guy's still going to follow us around.
There's no BLM officers, so there's nothing they could really do.
No, there's no BLM officers at all. This is just volunteers. So you don't know who these people are. They probably go to Burning Man.
While this was far from the first time that a Black Rock Ranger would decide to follow us across the playa, this one was unusually hard to shake, even after an attempt to turn the tables.
I got him. It's the same guy's already done this to us multiple times.
Despite the wave, the ranger kept pursuing, so we decided to try the tactic again.
I don't understand why it's so weird. That guy's probably going I think you guys just quit with him. I was leaving.
But for the first time, even exiting the playa wasn't enough to scrape this determined barnacle, and what was previously only annoying began to feel a bit more sinister. After being followed for 12 miles by the ranger, we decided to seek assistance at the local Bureau of Land Management office.
He's gonna go in the BLM office.
He's just gonna turn around that door. Yeah.
But in a perfect mirror to BLM's absence on the playa, the office proved to be once again closed and vacant.
Never open this place, never.
It's worth emphasizing that throughout the entire inspection day, we saw only BLM volunteers and not a single ranger, much less a lead official. As for the Black Rock Ranger who'd followed us to the office, He finally headed back to home base, yet one more example of the highly unusual behavior we'd come to expect from Burning Man's volunteer army. Days later, Annie Bond would respond to a viewer wondering about the results of the inspection.
I'm not at liberty to say. We haven't, and by we I mean BLM, they haven't analyzed the inspection points yet. So that information is going to resolutely come out.
So there's no one out here for the inspection, no BLM?
I feel really good about this inspection.
In February 2025, Burning Man officially celebrated passing the BLM's post-event inspection, congratulating their community for achieving the best score since, quote, the near-perfect results of 2019, end quote. Having seen this sad excuse for an inspection for ourselves, we headed back out to the playa one last time 5 days after it was completed to see what was still there. Not surprisingly, the self-proclaimed inspection teams had left quite a few things behind. Lying scattered about the playa were pieces of wood, random pieces of trash and plastic, and some things that seem really hard to miss.
That's one of their trucks. Why is this still here?
Despite the permit mandating that everything be off the playa by this time, Burning Man's Department of Public Works had seemingly left at least one truck and several heavy equipment vehicles out here, in violation of the contract. Once again, the reality on the ground seemed to be in stark contrast to the message Burning Man was sending out to the public.
Number 4, metal debris. This is becoming less and less, actually, because of the magnet sweepers that we're using. You guys are getting better at this, and we're finding less of this.
That's definitely theirs.
Yeah.
We hold hands and we walk across our playa space and we provide that there is nothing left. A hair, a twig, a bottle cap, matters out of place.
Yeah, but this one's pretty brutal.
Lag bolts are now the #1 move by far, and that is a problem because they are spikes in the ground.
It wasn't difficult to find other random items left behind on the soil, including toilet paper, nails, things that Burning Man would likely call assorted moop, and even hazards they admit could threaten anyone driving into the desert.
Now, why is it important that we pick up our tent stakes? This is what happens!
If even the surface of the playa looked this rough after Burning Man's restoration efforts and the subsequent inspection, one shudders to wonder what might have already slipped or drained into the cracks.
More garbage.
It's just like that. There's just trash all over the place. One time, I think last year, they had like 1,500 toilets stored out on the edge of the desert. I mean, you just can't get away from it. The landscape is clean, but you're not with them.
In their year-end Moop Roundup, Burning Man acknowledged finding more than 1,500 tent stakes, lag bolts and instances of rebar, more than 900 pieces of plastic debris, and more than 3,000 other traces the event left behind.
You know, I was an artist as well, you know, and I feel like there's an art to this, and the art to this is actually, I think it's the art of erasing.
But as we've shown, even these extraordinary numbers have to be taken with a grain of salt. The true number and the true impact that this annual event has had and continues to have on the playa may never be known.
You know, with a permit this size, or I guess a permit, but with the spectators that are this size, you definitely run into environmental compliance issues.
Even aside from serious questions about the quality of the annual post-Burning Man efforts, one must ask why a quote-unquote Leave No Trace festival on national conservation land should need a month of cleanup in the first place.
We strive to be an example for doing things and using public land. And using it, and then also doing our best to leave it beautiful.
But viewers will have to decide for themselves if they're truly setting that example.
This is our home. This is what connects us all, and it's our responsibility and our great honor and joy to take care of it in this way.
The fact that a city of 75,000 humans can pick up so well after itself is really just this side of miraculous.
Unfortunately, given everything that was uncovered in this investigation, it remains to be seen if this pristine stretch of Nevada desert will be preserved.
Well, because it is like one of the, last real remote places in the United States. We won't have these big areas to go and experience wildlife and nature and such. It's a beautiful area, and we want to keep it that way for generations to come, so that they can come and enjoy, a bit of the Wild West.
We couldn't agree more. If you'd like to see the natural beauty of this extraordinary American landscape protected against the immensely yearly harm it endures, go to stopburningman.org to learn how you can help.